All right, here we go. Welcome to this edition of the Baseball Forward podcast, a movement committed to passing the beautiful game of baseball on to the next generation of ball players and coaches. I'm your host, Ross Hawley, and I want to thank you for spending some time with us, wherever you might be watching or listening from. If this is your first time with us, welcome. For exclusive video clips and outtakes of this and all the other episodes of the Baseball Forward podcast, go give us a follow on social media at BaseballFWD or at Ross Hawley39. And for more information on joining the Baseball Forward movement, visit us on the World Wide Web at baseballforward.com. This episode of the Baseball Forward podcast is brought to you by Southpaw Hat Company. Don't let the name fool you. Southpaw hats are designed for everyone, not just you funky lefties out there. Check out their latest and greatest at southpawhatco.com and enter BallFWD at checkout for 10% off your entire order. Today's guest conversation features certified mental performance, life, and recovery coach, Mr. Curtis Pelletier. Here's episode 35 of the Baseball Forward podcast. Curtis, welcome to the Baseball Forward podcast, my friend. How are you?
I'm good, man. I just watched you do that. You should be a radio guy.
hey,
or pre-record that stuff.
Hey, see, there you go. I pre-record it, but you know what I realized? When I start doing this stuff, if I read it and then I just slap music on it, it's much more efficient just getting into it. Hey, did I say your last name right? Safe to the audience. I want to give us your last name.
Well, there's a few ways. When I was in Texas, I heard it all right. So
right.
It's Canadian. Well, it's not Canadian. It's French. Pelletier.
Yep.
Pelletier.
Pelletier.
But if you go to Quebec, it's Pelletier. Like I don't even know how to say my own last name in Quebec.
Hey,
let me just shut my mail down because it's just beeping away here.
Yeah, man, no worries. Shut it down. I know I listened to the Baseball Forward podcast today, episode 35 here with Curtis Pelletier. I played briefly with Russ Martin, former big leaguer, and I know he was a Canadian national guy, and he was from Quebec. So I always found it so fascinating when I was dealing with French Canadians, and then I got to give a shout out. Frenchie, he bullpen catcher for the Mets forever. I played with him in the Dodgers farm system. But here's what I want to say to you, Curtis, dude. French Canadians, maybe the coolest people in the world. Go.
Well, I mean, I live in Victoria, BC, so I'm as far away from Quebec as you can be. I live on Vancouver Island, so you and me both think French Canadians are pretty cool. When I played on the national team, I don't speak French at all, man. Like I'm West Coast, so yeah, French Canadians they're French Canadians.
But Pelletier is French, correct?
Yeah, I mean Rodriguez. You meet some Rodriguez up in Seattle. You ain't speaking Spanish, bro. It's everywhere.
I love it, man. Well, hey, it's good to have you on the show. I'm pumped to talk to you today because, man, baseball is I think one of the words I would use to describe it is fragile, finicky, man, roller coaster up and down. And as I've researched you more and more, it's very clear to me that you've been on one heck of a journey, man. And I'm fascinated by. I always say this: show me a man who's been knocked to his knees and humbled in life, and I'll show you that he's ready to grow and mature. So I'm excited to talk to you. I'm curious. Just as we start off, tell us a little bit about what you got going on right now and what you're doing. And then we'll kind of start breaking it down from there.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I always say it's probably the hardest program to sell on earth. I call it Mindset U. It's for kids. It's for all athletes of all ages. It's basically an accountability program. We run, like I have a 9-year-old in it. I got 21-year-olds in it, and they're all in it together. We're all in it together because we're all doing the same thing. Some people are starting later. Some people are starting earlier. But we're talking about habits. We're talking about what, we're really reverse engineering, bringing it back to what is going to give us success in life. And that is the compound effect of doing small things. Not right. You don't have to do them right all the time, but trying to do them right daily. Not brushing them off. Not rewriting that same thing at the end of a to-do list every damn day. Doing it, checking boxes. So we're all about checking boxes, and we're all about making that part of your life. And We talk about mindset. We talk about mental performance. Everybody thinks it's motivational videos. It's not. Motivational videos come from people who are doing the things they don't want to do every day to be successful. And the majority of people don't want to do that. And that's why they're not, or that's why they're very average. And, like we're talking about screen time. When you're Mindset U, we use Slack. You have to send in a picture of yesterday's screen time into Slack for the public, for everybody to see. So parents have to be a part of it. The athletes have to be a part of it. You send in your screen time. It could say 8 hours. It could say 1 hour.
Wow.
It's holding you accountable, right?
Yes.
So it's like, so show me your screen time. I'm going to show you why you're failing or why you're succeeding in your sport. We have this kind of this, not rule, but if your screen time is more than your training time, shut up.
Man, no joke.
Right? Like, and I'm 44. I'm starting to get it. I'm like, why are you on TikTok so much, dude? Or Snapchat? I'm like, that's how I communicate with my friends. I'm like, why don't you just call them from your phone? It's like, that's not how we do it. Okay. I'll give you. So I got to grow with it a little bit too.
Yeah.
But when I see, a kid on Instagram for 3 hours, TikTok for an hour and a half, YouTube for 3, and their parents are like, wow, they're not doing very good in school. I'm like, well, just cut their damn phone off, man.
Man, isn't that so true? Why is that so hard? Like you talk about screen time. Like, Curtis, to me, that seems so stinking obvious. But the piece that you brought up about accountability with the screen time. I mean, hey, I got kids, and and this, like, if I let them play Fortnite, if all day, they wouldn't do anything else other than playing Fortnite, because it's fun. I get it. So why is what is so fascinating about the screen time?
Well, I think it's instant gratification, right? We don't live in a world of delayed gratification anymore. Everything is so accessible. And expectations are now. And to me, that's it, man. Like, kids can access everything. Kids are smart. They can go. I mean, I got a 16-year-old daughter who doesn't have her phone or computer right now. It's taken away from her. But I know she's at school doing something, figuring something out. They're sneaky. It's a communication piece that, like, with their friends, social, I understand it's different than we were kids. I catch myself saying, wow, back when I was a kid, it's different. It's different. Yep. I got my first email address in college. It's like, I didn't have.
Do you remember what it was?
Yeah, it was Kid Pelch at yahoo.com.
What was it?
Kid Pelch, because Kid Rock was my guy.
Yeah, man, I love it.
So, and I still have a Kid Pelch at Mac account. Anyway, it's habit forming. It's going, okay, what are my goals here? Is this pointing to my goal? And we're going to talk about, again, I got 9, 10, 12-year-olds in the program. Yeah, they're on their screens a lot. It doesn't, and I tell them this, I'm like, it doesn't matter right now. You're fine right now. You go on your phone for 6 hours, you're good today, bro.
Yep.
But guess what? In 4 years, when you're a junior in high school and you got 5,000 Instagram followers and you think you're cool as shit,
yep,
you ain't going anywhere with that.
Man.
Your habits suck. Your habits are hardwired now. So yes, go on your phone. It's all good. But what else are you doing through the day? So again, with Mindset UE, one of the big ones for me is teaching people, coaching people how to be their own best coach and self. Yes. And with that, being able to communicate, having the comfort level to express how they feel. And, I laugh. Like, we were talking about Chase earlier. I talk to a lot of my old friends, and they're really good friends. And we talk about how we feel now. And we always laugh and be like, man, imagine if we were talking about this 20 years ago.
No.
You loser. Shut up. It's different. So there's a form system every morning, every night. There's a really simple form they fill out. It takes 2 minutes. How do you feel mentally? How do you feel emotionally? How do you feel spiritually? Did you accomplish a goal today that you set yesterday? Tell me your well, better, how. What'd you do well today? What can you do better tomorrow? How are you going to do it? right? We put a flip on the negative. There's always negatives going on in life.
Always.
So we call that the well, better, how. What did I do well? What can I do better? How am I going to do it? And I use the well, better, how for post game. After a double header. No. Don't wait an hour. Do your well, better, how right now. What did I do well today? All right, I had some good swings. What could I do better? Be more aggressive first pitch. How am I going to do it? Come out of my shoes first pitch tomorrow. Boom, done. Got your game plan tomorrow. That's it. Now leave it at the field.
Man, I'm okay. So it's clear to me that the successful people, and I'm not saying I'm one of them, but I'm saying it's clear to me by just observing that the successful people in life, there's a common theme on a daily basis. And that common theme is intentional with goals. So there's goals that lead the day. And then there's habits that develop, that are in pursuit of that goal. So when I say that, goals and habits, expand and tell me the importance of that as these young guys are trying to understand themselves better.
I think goals and habits all come down to process, dude. It's you've heard the term trust the process, right?
You bet.
What does that mean, Ross? What does trust the process mean?
Man, for me, it's what I just explained to you. At this point, I would say trust the process is, all right, hey, I have a goal. I don't necessarily know that I'm going to hit the goal, but I have to trust the work that I'm going to put in to attempt to hit the goal.
Okay, perfect. So you said a fabulous word earlier, which was intentional.
Okay.
So we're gonna look at that goal. We're gonna reverse engineer that goal into intentional steps each day.
Okay.
So let's put everything into buckets. Let's call your podcast a bucket. Okay. 1 year goal in a podcast, X amount of listeners. Okay, let's reverse engineer that. What am I going to do today? What box am I going to check today to compound so I get to that potential yearly goal? Again, and we're not setting unrealistic goals. We're setting very reachable goals. Now, instead of calling it trust the process, we're going to trust our process. We're going to create our process and we're going to make it intentional. So every quarter we work on an MVP process, mission, vision, purpose process. Okay? We put everything in our life into buckets. We get intentional with each bucket. So for me, it's mindset, use a bucket. My wife's in a bucket. My kids are in their own buckets. My recovery's in a bucket. I'm training for an Ironman right now. That's in a bucket.
Ooh, yeah.
It's like everything's in buckets. Now I have to look at it and I have to go, okay, how do I schedule this properly? Is this too much or is this enough? Okay. And now we get into scheduling. Okay. Our 168 hours a week. How am I going to schedule this properly so that I can see that my life is balanced? Okay. And again, we're talking about athletes, talking about youth. It's challenging for them, and I don't expect them to do it perfect. I expect them to try. Mm-hmm. And over the course of a year, and hey, this program, this isn't a 1 month program. Commit to about a year for this. Okay. Yeah. I tell kids, this is the worst program you're ever going to be in. It's super boring. There's nothing fun about it. But if you follow these steps, you ain't going to have things go wrong in a year. They're like, what do you mean not go wrong? I mean, things are just going to be good. We're not looking to jump and to climb up and get to the top of the mountain in a year. We're looking to be about a quarter way there. But if you don't do all these things, you're still going to be at the bottom.
You said it's going to be boring, and I'm gonna say from my perspective in life now, I want kids to understand this so much, dude. Boring is so freaking fun. Boring is the most amazing thing because
it's so easy for us when we're old to say that, though.
So when I say you're the expert. So what I want to do, Curtis, is when I say, because there's going to be some kids out here listening to this, and I'm telling you, hey, listen to old man Ross. Boring is fun, Curtis. Why is boring fun? And how do I know? Make that workable for the kids.
Simple. Again, we have to compartmentalize these things, man. We have to compartmentalize. Okay, what am I boring towards? What is my goal here? Okay, my goal is to go to a D1 school and start as a sophomore. Okay, let's say that's my goal. Okay. There's going to be boring things along the way that you have to do, but you can also insert some fun things. You You can still play some video games. You can still go to a party. Okay. You can still do all these things and be a normal person. That's the whole point, is we're trying to normalize the mundane. And okay, go to the party, but be home at 10. Right. And get up at 6 and check your damn boxes. Right. Most people aren't doing that. And guess what? The ones that are going to take your spot at that D1 school.
Boy, that's good.
And
And
so it's so simple, but it's so hard. It's so hard.
The discipline.
It's so hard to wake up in the morning and go, oh, well, Groundhog Day. All right, well, I'm going to, like, for me. And okay, I want to throw something in here because this is something I've really been talking with a lot of my older, like, I work with CEOs in the East Coast and lots of people.
Okay.
And we're talking about high ceiling versus low ceiling. Okay. So, and this is a big one for the kids because I think this is a really good habit. I think the awareness factor of this is massive. Okay. So for me, and I use myself as an example because that's what I know best. Okay. So for me, a perfect day. What's a perfect day? Every day I wake up at 4 a.m. I'm a 4 a.m. guy.
Wow.
The reason I do that is because I need some time. I got 3-year-old twins and a 16-year-old daughter. Okay. There's bananas here, bro. It's bananas.
Yeah, bananas.
So I get up at 4, have my coffees. I go in my cold tank. I get on my computer. I check all the forms from my clients. I make sure everybody's doing okay. That's a daily. Okay. I get my family ready. I make lunches. I drive people to school. I get home. I get dressed. I shower. Okay. Then I go do my training for my Ironman. I come back. I get on some calls, client meetings, go meet a buddy. Okay. High ceiling day. That's a wicked day. Awesome day.
Nice.
Okay. All my boxes got checked. Low ceiling day. Crappy day. How do I still check boxes? Shit, I slept in. My kids are losing their minds because they can't take their bike to school. Yeah. Okay. My wife got up late too. I don't feel good. I'm coughing. This day. Okay. Here's what most people do. Well, this day's screwed. I'm not going to do anything until I feel perfect because I need to get up and I need to go to the gym at this time or I don't go.
I feel that.
I'm only an in the morning gym person. No. I need to train for my Ironman. So I'm at the gym at 10 p.m. I hate it. It sucks. But I'm going to go and I'm going to do 30 minutes on the bike. I'm going to swim X amount of meters. I'm going to slug through it. And I'm going to do it. I'm going to do 100 push-ups through the day. I'm going to drink some water. That's my low ceiling day. I can do that. I know I am capable of doing that. And I've committed to doing this. So that's all I have to do today.
I'm raising my hand, Curtis, because this is stuff, man. I love learning this stuff. So on your low ceiling days, is it you recognizing that it's a low ceiling day? And is it like you trying to be aware that, hey, this is a low ceiling day and I got to trudge?
Yeah. I'm like, God, this day sucks. Like this is
how quickly do you recognize that?
You can usually recognize it. Like for me, it's wake up time. Okay. If I can get up at 4 every day, I can usually get my day mid to high ceiling day. Right. Okay. I'm not going to allow, well, sometimes I argue with 3-year-olds, but it's, that's another story.
Yes, it is.
Once I get them to their little private school deal, then I can come home and I can, usually sit here and just stare at the wall for 15 minutes and regain my focus. But then I can get back to my high ceiling day. It's the times where it's like, okay, 2 weeks ago I had a molar in the back of my tooth. So I'd like to go in for emergency this, emergency that. Like, you can't train. I'm like, don't tell me what to do. So, I was like, low ceiling day. What can I do? I don't have to get my heart rate up too high, but I still need to check some boxes here. So how do I recognize? I think when I can't, so here, maybe I'll do another time. I can send you a screenshot of it, but my schedule is so dialed in, like my 168, that every day I know what I'm doing. Okay. It's not always perfect. Even the high ceiling days, things move around a little bit, but low ceiling days, it's like nothing is getting done. That's when I know. That's when I'm like, okay. And I tell people, I equate this to, let's say, football. Okay, I have my play set. defense comes up. Oh my God, I'm not ready for this. I gotta call an audible. Okay, or time up. Everybody in.
Yep.
Here, we gotta talk about this. Or the best example I have of this is being a manager, being a baseball manager and a coach, is going, okay, today we're gonna get blown out. It's already 8-0 in the second. Guys, what can we do to leverage some momentum to tomorrow's game? I'm not going to say we lost this game, but I mean, everybody put their hand up. Who thinks we're coming back? Not a lot of hands are going up. Okay, cool. Okay, we've understood that. Can we go out and have some good at-bats? Okay. Can we execute?
I like that.
Can we do some things, though? We understand this game has gotten out of hand here. Okay, and I'm not quitting. I'm not saying things can't go right if we go out and do things right. And you'd be surprised. We put some crooked numbers up in a couple innings, and this game's within 4 runs because we went back to basics.
Amen.
You don't have your 6-hole hitter up there trying to hit a 9-run jack in the 3rd inning. No.
I hear you saying, get back to the process.
Let's try to get some base runners. Okay, goal this inning. Let's get 2 base runners. All right, let's just go station to station. No one gets picked. Nothing happens. Right, and that's kind of how I use my day. It's like, okay, today, write off. Today sucks. Everybody sucks. I hate everyone. That's the mindset you have where you're like yelling at people in traffic and you're just like, got pulled over and you're like, whew.
Guilty.
Okay, now awareness of this is the biggest piece. And this is where communication comes in with my students, with my clients, and we can talk about it. And we can go, man, looks like you had a bad day yesterday. Let's talk about it. Okay, let's try to work on that for next time. What can you do when you feel that? Pull a car over, stop, hang up the phone, put your phone down. Okay, what's one thing, what's a couple boxes I can check that's going to continue momentum into a better day tomorrow? Because this is where it happens. This is where hitting slumps come in. This is where all kinds of bad stuff comes in. Is everything continue this and they're pushing, they're trying.
Everything spirals out of control. It seems like
swing harder.
Yep.
No. Wow. How about we work a count? How about you just chill out? How about you just try to put the ball in the ground opposite field one time, dude? One time.
And get out of the mindset of worrying about all the outcomes that you have no control over. I want to say this. We're talking with Curtis Pelletier out in Canada. This guy is Victoria, Canada. Mindset coach, mental coach, former baseball player. Talking with Curtis on the Baseball Forward podcast today. Curtis, boy, there's something that I read about you, and I want to, because this is for the baseball people. This is for the parents, the coaches out there that listen to this, and it's for everybody.
I am an open book, so don't ever hesitate to ask me anything.
Yeah, no. So I'm going to fire away with this one. I read something on you, and I want to say this right, but you said there's a difference between recovery and sobriety. I want to know what the difference between recovery versus sobriety is.
Sobriety is just not doing something, and it doesn't have to be from alcohol or drugs. It could be from wearing a shirt that you really like. It's like it could be anything, but it's white knuckling your way through life.
Ooh,
thinking of not doing something.
That doesn't sound fun.
Everything is focused on avoidance. Everything is focused on just not doing certain things instead of, and this is how people look at, they think their life's over. They've quit drinking. No, man, your life's just beginning. Okay. So recovery is an interesting word because, like for myself, I still say I'm in recovery. I will always be in it because I have an injury. It's like you pull your hamstring, you go to physio, you do rehab. Well, I had to go to rehab for alcohol.
That's
right.
Good.
We're all rehabbing something.
Yeah, we are.
We're in recovery from some kind of injury. So when we talk about recovery, it can be recovery from trauma, be recovery from getting cut from a team. How are you dealing with that? How are you dealing with that? Are we gonna go find the positives here? And to me, and to a lot of people, that's what recovery is. It's not about, and honestly, when it comes to alcohol or substance, it's not about the alcohol or substance. Yes, it's a problem, but that's not the main problem. The main problem is you ain't dealing with your shit.
Mm.
Recovery is dealing with that stuff. And sorry, I don't mean to cuss, but
It's all good. It's all good. We'll just make sure it's not published for the kids on YouTube.
Well, we get deep into some heavy stuff when I talk about this kind of stuff, but it's not usually the booze, it's not usually the drugs. It's deeper than that. And that's where we go deep, right?
Yep. So from what I'm hearing, this is kind of the way my mind is working through this is recovery is not a feeling. It's an action, and it's you growing and hoping and getting better. And sobriety is almost like a feeling, a state of mind. You said white knuckling because, dude, that sounds horrible. I don't want to be in sobriety. But I want to be in recovery. Is that right?
We can put an athletic spin on this in a sense of, an athlete wanting to lose weight. They could just not eat and just stand there and focus on not doing something. Or they could eat really well, focus on the parts of their body they need to focus on and do the hard work. And this is what we're doing. This is fitness for your brain. This is fitness for your soul. This is fitness for, I think soul is the biggest one. It's fitness for your heart. This is fitness for you overall to be what it comes down to. Again, recovery versus sobriety. People in sobriety don't really like to look in the mirror and look at themselves. People in recovery can look in the mirror and go, God, that guy is cool. Look at me go.
Heck yeah.
Right? That's what we want. I asked a guy, I got a new client. He's heavy into the devil's dandruff, and he's been clean for a bit now. And I asked him, he's saying all these words, and I'm like, okay, cool, awesome. And I can tell he's just saying words. I said, what do you see when you look in the mirror, bro? And he started crying. Because he's not there yet. He still doesn't like that person, but he's trying. And I said, listen, you don't have to say all these words. You don't have to be this cheerleader for yourself. What you got to do, and it's no different than the gym, you got to sweat. You got to cry. You got to get it out. You got to do the hard work. It's like, again, use the fitness analogy. It's like getting in the gym that first 2-3 months after you haven't been in a gym forever, or it's been a long time. It hurts. You can't get out of bed. And that's physical get out of bed. We're talking about recovery. It's emotional, mental can't get out of bed because you don't know what to do. You don't know who you are. And it takes work. And it's so hard to do on your own. And that's, again, why people have personal trainers or coaches. Same in recovery, same in sobriety, same in mental performance. We need those people. I have 2 coaches, man. Like I still work with Brian Kane. He's my guy. Like I love Brian Kane. I made all this up on my own. Like he's not either. He got it from Ken Revisit. Like this is all. We're not recreating the wheel here. We're finding things that work, and we are applying them tactically and practically.
I'm gonna tell you this, and I'll tell this. Talking to Curtis Pelletier on the Baseball Forward podcast today, Curtis. In my second year of professional baseball, I quit. I quit baseball because I was so exhausted, tired, just down. Like it was a really, really low point in my life. And I want to build it because I want your take on this. So for the people out there listening, boy, hey, you think you're the only one that's ever been through it? Man, you're not. Like there are so many people that go through the athletes, and I'm speaking specifically to baseball players. There's so many guys that when it comes to an end, it doesn't end the way you wanted it to end for 99% of the people. And I think it wasn't a regret that I quote quit, because I just couldn't take it anymore. I couldn't take the 24/7 just thinking about it nonstop. I didn't have the tools or the resources to understand what I was going through. So I just said, screw it, that fight or flight, and I flight. Okay. So, but I want to get your take on the athletes that go through what I went through, because, hey, I know unfortunately met guys that have taken their lives for stuff like this. It was their identity. And I want to know your take, like for the guys that are listening out there, how important it is to equip yourself to prepare for the battles, because they are coming. And yeah, I'll give you the floor on that.
Well, I think I'll ask you, Ross, what were your strengths as a baseball player?
My fastball, my curveball, and my physical gift, and then my bulldog mentality. I feel like I was a good teammate, and I got after guys.
Did you try to do more?
All the time.
You see, that's where we run into trouble, right? It's knowing what you're capable of and not having unrealistic expectations. As you know, and we look at this organizationally. You know, I've been involved as a scout, and we look at guys, and you know, you're rated, you're compared all the time to certain people. And when you can look in the mirror and understand that, you know, I am not Bryce Harper, I am Curtis Pelletier. Okay, I'm a 40 run. I'm a 50 power. I'm not a 60. I'm not a 65. This is what I am, and they like me. They still have me here. This is weird. I'm not a superstar, but I'm filling a role, and we all fill a role in life, and we have to be okay with that role, being that role person that we are, especially when we're involved in organizations. Okay, we're involved in organizations, so I don't get to say, hey man, you know, I was a catcher. I can't just go and be like, bro, no, I'm playing center field today. Like, that's what I want to do. I'm going to be pissed if I don't. I want to steal more, you know, dude, you're 6'2", 240. It's like, I don't care, man. I want to do it. Or I'm going to be really mad about everything. It's like, no, you frame well, you hit okay, and you throw a bit. That's all they want. So be that guy. And that's to life too. You know, what are your strengths as a person? Okay, we talk about, you know, the old saying, focus on your strengths. Awesome. Yeah, game time, focus on your strengths. Don't worry about your weakness in the game. That's not going to help. But see, this is where Mindset U comes in. This is where we talk about your weakness. Okay, what can we do to make that 0.5% better today? That's it. You know, oh man, my screen time was up again. Might take you 3 months to get it down half an hour, dude.
Yep.
But that's okay. Let's get it a minute a day. So back to what you're saying about you. Then, and I quit too. You know, I wanted to be more. It was too much. I couldn't compartmentalize life, baseball, and it was my identity. And I just wanted to be a normal person. I still am water skiing to this day. I didn't do cool stuff in the summer. I was playing baseball.
Yep.
But understanding who you are, understanding what your strengths are, and not trying to do more than that.
Wow.
I really think be good at the stuff you're good at. You know, it's like I heard Chase on your last podcast talking about being a jack of all trades. Don't be a jack of all trades. Like you see left-handed relievers getting sick contracts because they throw a slider.
Yep.
That's it. You know what pitch is coming. Dude's banging the slider in on you. He's not working on, you know, spin rate to get his fastball up to 102. No, it's an 89 slider that you just can't hit.
That's right. You know, I think back because I've been asked numerous times, and I come back to a very similar answer every time. Is I hear you talking about you know, your strengths, and I didn't understand my strengths because I didn't have an identity. I heard one of my former players say it the other day. He knows his identity as a pitcher. I didn't know my identity as a pitcher until I was done. And I say that because I want the guys out here that are listening to this, whether they're, you know, high school guys, you know, college guys, whatever, is it doesn't, just because you're not something doesn't mean you're not enough. And I remember being asked, what was your identity? And I'm like, you know what? I had a pitching coordinator in the Brewers, or in the Dodgers organization tell me, you're a year away from the big leagues. And I was like, what the hell is he talking about? Me? What? But what he saw in me was the fastball and the curveball. And all he saw in me was 3, 4, 5 outs, right? One time through at backs. But for the kids out there listening to that, Are you okay with getting 3 outs in the big leagues? Yeah, you are, right? That's the goal.
I'm okay with giving up a bomb in the big leagues, dude. You know, it's like
So
beat Paul Skeens. You know, yeah, dude. That's powerful, man. That's powerful.
And this is why, like, so going through and why I understand the need. I beg and I plead. I beg and I plead. If you're listening to this, please put yourself, your kids, please put yourself around people like Curtis that are not scared to tell the truth, that are not scared to talk about what's going on, because we've gone far too long, and I think we've gotten a lot better as a society, but we've gone far too long as a society where, oh, big man, big, strong, throw ball hard. No, man, I'm like, hey, I'm a human like everybody else, right? Yeah. So I'm begging, my plead, and then I'll give it to you, Curtis. My beg and my plead for the parents that are listening to this is, you're out there spending all this money on lessons and pitching and but and it's not ill intention, it's not malicious, but you're not preparing your kids for the hardest part of the game, and the hardest part of the game is between the ears.
Yeah. I mean, I still think there's a fine line between the communication and the sensitive piece, and being that old school, rub some dirt on it kind of guy.
Yep.
I really do. And I really preach and teach that. Sometimes you got to know when to talk, and then you got to know when to shut up too. Sure. But for parents, you know, I mean, this is a big part of my program is parents being involved. Okay. And it's talking to the parents, helping the parents through this process too. You said it. And I used to be the guy, you know, who did lessons and like just cashing checks. Like, all right, Great, Johnny, you look great. See you next week at 3 for another hour. You know, it takes 45 minutes to get back to where we left off. But yeah, you're doing great. You know, you'd be great in T-ball, but you're 16 and you're going to go get lit up again. I didn't care. You know, like everybody goes through it, right?
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, lessons are important. Lessons are great. You know, learn how to hit, but learn how to think. Learn how to be your own best coach. And that's one of the epidemics right now is kids can't coach. So kids, like, they're in a game. They're like, I don't know what to do. I don't have 9 people working with me.
Wow.
You know, you think, okay, you're a real average high school baseball player. You got D1, you know, dreams. Like, great, awesome. You ain't going to D1. All right, there's a backlog. You're going to go to JUCO. All right, let's say you end up in some crappy JUCO in Arizona. You don't have trainers. Do you know how to work out, man? Do you know how to work out? Well, no, I had trainers in high school. My parents paid for all that. And they had sprinting coaches and this and that. I'm like, okay, cool. Do you remember it? Do you have it written down? Do you have it all? Well, no. Okay, man. Like, you're gonna go from being coddled, coached, and to this school on your own, and you'd be like, all I know how to do is go to Taco Bell. I don't even know how to make food. I don't know this. And that's where you see kids come home at Christmas and they're like, hell no, I ain't going back there. That sucked. Man. Yes, it sucks. It sucks. I mean, I say it, Chase said it. JUCO was the best years of my life. Best year. This is a Wild West. Like, we had to go to Walmart and get our own wrist tape. We had like 2 bats.
Yes.
I sent a picture of us playing Pepper in 1998 before a game. You know, we have a group chat still from 98, 99 teams. And Kevin Thompson, who played for the Yankees, he chimes in. He goes, hey, Chase is holding our only bat. We literally, one of them was broken. I think we had 2 bats.
And shared helmets too.
Oh God, yeah, we shared helmets. We had spikes. We had to go buy our own spikes. Batting gloves are all ripped. And again, you know, I encourage everybody to go to junior college.
Hey, did you see the what came out earlier this morning on junior college? Now the NJCAA just passed a law, or is it law? I'm using loose terms right now. They just passed a rule that said, go to junior college. Once you're done, you still have 4 years of eligibility with the NCAA.
No,
what? So yes, it came out. I got like my text. I was getting text messages at like 6 o'clock this morning. I'm like, what is this?
So it's prep. So we're calling JUCO prep now.
and you're not losing your eligibility. So, and that understand that. That's why the game is getting older, but it's almost like college baseball at the highest level, NCAA Division I, and it's going to trickle down to 2 and
It's
3.
It's a minor leagues in a sense.
That's what it is. It's just getting older and older. But I'm like, hey, Curtis, as a JUCO bandit, what were the benefits from a baseball perspective of playing junior college baseball?
Down and dirty, man. Like, you had to figure it out. There's so much around. I mean, I had Tim Tadlock as a coach, man.
Ooh, love him.
Right? Like, he's, so it was, we were allowed the freedom to be our own best players. We weren't micromanaged. Coach Tadlock didn't micromanage us. He didn't say, hey, you need to swing like this, you need to do this. He just said, you just sit on the bench if you're not producing. All right. So we had to figure it out. We had to figure a lot of things out. We didn't have Rep Soto, Trackman. We didn't have Blast. We didn't have anything. We didn't have any of this stuff. We had to figure it out. And that's what we did.
And you got a ton of at-bats, I'm assuming, in the fall, and a ton of at-bats in the spring, right? Yeah. And just a ton of repetition.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And we're in a cage all the time. I mean, the benefits of a small town is there's not much more to do. We found some trouble, but other than be a ball player, and be around your boys. Yep. Be around that fraternity. We're not flying places. We had 2 vans. I mean, shoot, I remember catching doubleheader, Texarkana, and 4-hour ride home, and I got to lay across the top of the seats with my hamstrings cramping from catching 2 games, and we didn't have enough water because I don't know. I can't remember if we had water jugs, dude. Like, we had to walk across a bridge where we heard rattlesnakes to go get water.
Oh man,
I'm not kidding. There's signs everywhere. There's you just play, I mean, you play games all you hear is rattling.
Texas JUCO ball, rattlesnakes. Talking with Curtis Pelletier on the Baseball Forward podcast today. Curtis, what a fun conversation, man. And I can tell. You guys go check him out on social media. Lots of really cool stuff. Great content, by the way. And again, I got a soft spot for the guys that have been in the trenches, and maybe it wasn't perfect for them, and then they came out of it and they're better for it. And I think that's what I would say for what I've read and what I view of you is, dude, what a trooper, just a trooper. And I think that alone is inspiring to a lot of people. It's just taking the next step, one step forward, and learn. When I say you don't win or lose, you win and you learn, I get it. That's cliche. Does that resonate with you?
Yeah. I mean, it does more now. I mean, I'm learning every day still. I'm learning to be my best self. There was a time 3-4 years ago where, I mean, shoot, I think 4 years ago I was, I was sober 4 years ago. I've been sober for 8 years now.
Oh boy.
And, 4 years ago I was sober. I wouldn't say I was in recovery though, but I was killing it. I thought I was killing it. I was the GM of a summer ball team in the West Coast League. I was a scout for the Marlins and the Cubs. I owned and ran a 10,000 square foot indoor facility.
Love it.
I started a university program up here in Canada, but it was too much. It was just too much. It was like, I was not in recovery. I was sober, and I wanted to leave a legacy. That's what I told myself. I'm like, I want a statue of me coming back. This guy came back from alcoholism, and there's a statue of him, and he built all this stuff. It buried me, dude. And I was like, what am I doing here? So I don't know where I'm going with this, but understanding that you don't have to be everything. I don't know where I'm going with this. I'm learning every day. I had to take a step back because I wasn't in recovery. I wasn't being my best self. I wasn't who I was. This picture in my head of how it's supposed to be. And that is a scary thing to look at. Wow. I tell people that all the time. I'm like, hey, stop looking at that picture in your head of how it's supposed to be, and just look where your damn feet are and look around. Wow. That's how it is. And it's never going to be how it's supposed to be. It's going to be how it is.
Man, that's
it. You are how you see things are not how they are. How you see things is how you are. Okay. And you take 2 people, look at the same thing. They're going to see two different outcomes. They're going to see two different ways of looking at it. So when you can start to understand that the world is how you see it because of your current state, you really work on how to be your best in that current state. And when we come back to Mindset U, we talk about, I mean, this goes to sports, goes to baseball. You cannot be an emotional decision maker. All right. Oh, man, that guy struck me out with a hanger last time. Screw him. I'm going to take him deep. No, that's an emotional decision. Why don't you go up there and put your best swing on a fastball?
Yeah.
That's a good way to look at it. You're not going to rise to your goals. You're going to fall to your systems. What are your systems? Your systems are this. You are a good gap-to-gap line drive hitter. Okay, your goal is to hit one over the scoreboard? You ain't going to rise to that. I guarantee it. You're going to fall to your systems. So engage in your systems, work on your systems. This comes back to pro ball and our conversation with about you. What are the strengths of your systems? You are not going to rise to your goals. You're going to fall to your systems.
Wow, that is powerful, Curtis. That's why we had you on the Baseball Forward. I feel like just like a little fawn in the forest, searching for the answers, and I feel like here it is.
When you find them,
man.
let me know. Let me know what they are.
These are but you know what I really like about that is and I'm guilty of it. We're all guilty of it, but in my head, I have a picture of who I'm, in quotes, supposed to be, but who I'm supposed to be is kind of a reflection of who I compare myself to. And when I do that, I'm kind of like, this is a waste of time. I mean, how about I just go do what I think I'm, what I like to do, what I'm good at, and have passion for it, kind of bloom where you're planted. That, man, that takes that. I just want a younger demographic to just, gosh, I want them to get it quicker than they should. And I know they, and I know they probably won't.
Me too. I mean, I told Chase this about his book. I'm like, your book is, you read the book. I helped him with the book.
I love it.
I'm
the
like,
Hitter's Handbook.
Unfortunately, the people who need this are the ones who don't think they need it. And then when they realize they need it, it's too late. And that's ego. And that's the reality of majority of the population. And that's why every person who is either in the big leagues or used to play pro ball reads it and goes, oh, this is amazing, because they know.
Yep.
They know. The 14-year-old who reads it goes, all right, well, cool. I still suck at hitting. It's like they don't get the process of it all, right?
Yep. Talking with Curtis Pelletier on the Baseball Forward podcast today. Baseball Forward is our MO is elevating the next generation, right? Moving the game on to the next generation. And that means a lot to me because, man, I have such a reverence and a love and a respect for the game of baseball and what it's taught me about my life and the good and the bad, man. So our MO is elevating the next generation. So when I say elevating the next generation, and you talking specifically to baseball players out there, what's your advice to the young guys coming up in the game today?
Well, it'd be easy for me to spout out a bunch of quotes, but how you do anything is how you do everything. That's one of my favorite quotes. It's, if you're leaving homework to the last minute, you're going to be leaving your swing and your mechanics the last minute. You're going to be in the cage, hitting cage bombs. You're not going to be working on the right stuff. But I kind of want to say this to parents and players. And something you said earlier had me thinking, you comparing yourself to, you're talking about comparing yourself to the version you see, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're all guilty of that. And we're very much guilty of it because we see a lot of everybody's positives on social media, right? So it's a comparison game. And I don't feel like enough game. And everybody's signing a letter of intent thinking God game. It's like, okay, we get that. That's cool. One of the biggest pieces of advice I give to people is start trying to live your life like a successful big company. Okay. And the reason I say that is they have core values. They have a mission statement. They work in quarters. They have reviews. They have HR. They're accountable to systems. Okay. And Ross, let me kick it up another notch here. And this is something my wife thinks I'm bananas for it, but emergency escape route in case there's a fire. You know, I talk to so many parents, and this is nothing to do with baseball, but it's everything to do with everything. Again, like I live in an earthquake zone. What happens if there's an earthquake? Well, I'm prepared for a zombie apocalypse at this point. I really am, because I have to live my life like worst case scenario is going to happen, and that's what a lot of businesses do. Why don't we live our lives like that? Why don't we get up in the mirror and look at our wall and go, there's my core values, there's my mission statement, I'm going to walk at each step every day. I ask the majority of people, and this is one of my favorite things when I speak to teams, I give them all a piece of paper and a pen, and I go, okay, write down 3 core values of your team, go. They're like, whoa. I probably get like 40 different core values. I'm like, okay, this is beautiful. It's awesome. I love all these. But you guys are nowhere near the same page. Okay? And let's look at a family.
Man, that's
family. A family of 5. 10-year-old, 14-year-old, 18-year-old parents, and then 2 parents. All 5 of you write down your core values of this family. Your mind to be blown. I challenge you to do this exercise.
I'm doing it tonight, dude.
It's an interesting one. And then you take those core values and you talk about them. And guess what? You do it over dinner. And all of a sudden, dinners become a little bit more fun because you know, if you're fun, you can chirp each other's core values a little bit too. And you can realize that, oh, no. We have 7 different ones, but actually 3 of those words mean the same thing. So we are going in the right direction. And then challenge everybody to, okay, what's our family's mission statement here? It doesn't have to be, crazy, but are we in the right direction? Are we all going in the right direction? What is our family goal? What is our individual goal? And for me, it's simple stuff, right? It's my core values are protect, preserve, and perform. There's 3 simple ones. And all those words have very detailed meanings to me. They might sound weird to people, those 3 words, but I have documents that break down each word into different pieces of my life now. Right? So again, we talk about, you got to hit, for me, I had to hit rock bottom to be able to get to this point in my life and understand that, yeah, I got to do this for me, but man, I think I can help some people with this too.
Wow, dude, you're firing me up. And like, I want to say this, talking to Curtis Pelletier on the Baseball Forward podcast today, man, just by doing this podcast. Okay. And I'm lucky enough. I have some decent people, whatever you want to say, or in my network, whatever you want to call it. But I listen to guys like you. I listen to like some of the best coaches that I feel that have walked on this planet. And man, when I was with Gary Ward at the beginning of December, legendary coach Gary Ward, who does a lot of stuff with us, Curtis, you should have seen his office, a stack of papers this big with 200 something like core values, things that he commits to, broken down 27 type. Like it's unbelievable how organized it is and how well thought out, but how simple it is.
See, and I understand that because that's his process, and for me, like I have, let me see if I can find it here. Hold on. Like, because not enough for me. I had to make my own Ironman training book.
Look at you. This guy's a nut job.
Everything is printed out properly. I go through it. I have my high ceiling, my low ceiling days. But here's the thing. I already know all this, but when I type it and I write it, it just becomes more etched into who I am.
Wow.
When we're continuing, and this is why forms are important, this is why writing a process is important. Yes, we know our process, but the more we write it, the more we look at it. I make the kids frame it once it's done, put it up in their house.
I want you right now, as we're kind of winding this episode of the Baseball Forward podcast down with Curtis Pelletier, to the audience. I want to get in. You got to do it, man. So much pressure right now. But in a minute, like someone's going to listen to this, and they're probably fired up like I am. So in a minute, like pitch, what is your, hey, what are my next steps? What would you say to the guys out there that are wanting to grow from listening to this podcast? What are their next steps? Go.
All right. Write your goals now. Now write what you do every day down. Now draw arrows. Does it point to it or away from it? Stop doing the dumb shit that points away from it. Keep doing the good shit that points to it.
Oh,
It's really, like I said, it's really straightforward. But we get so distracted, and a big part of that is understanding what is this distraction okay? Sometimes distractions are okay. I still love watching South Park.
yes, sir.
Like it's just like I need to shut my brain off and laugh at Cartman for half an hour. That's
God,
okay. I'm good with
he's
that.
so good.
I'm good with that. I know 70% of my day is productive. That's fine. That's fine. I'm hitting 700. I'm gold.
Yep.
But the other parts of the day, it's like, no, it's so is watching South Park pointing towards my goal? Absolutely it is. I enjoy it. So we got to look at these things properly. And I think when people start doing these things, it's like anything. It's like people who start working out, they go way too hard, way too fast. They can't do it. They become frustrated. So they're like, screw it, I'm out. Can't do it. No. Let's just take a step. What's one little thing? And again, it's corny, gratitude, corny stuff. Like we talk about all these things. We work on gratitude. We work on mindfulness. A lot of buzzwords that are thrown around that have no meaning anymore a lot of the times. But there's a lot to it. Meditation. Like I make custom guided meditations for athletes.
Wow.
Like I use AI English voices and be like, you're gonna hit the ball to like whatever it takes. So like I got kids listening to guided meditations half an hour before their game about their approach. Kids are looking at them like they're weirdos. Like it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Do what works for you. So again, find out your goals. Like establish what your goals are. List out everything you do in a day. What is pointing towards it? What's pointing away from it? And let's just try to eliminate the stuff that's not helping you. Not all at once. You don't have to. Just slowly start picking away at it.
Tell you what, Curtis, what an absolute joy talking with you today, man. This can't be the last time we're going to talk. I know that.
We can talk. I'm sure we can talk all day, dude.
It fires me up, and I want to say this. I want to give you the opportunity here. I know you don't really care about it, but well, maybe you do. But tell the audience where they can find you, where what they need to do if they want to get a hold of you. Say that, and then I'll take us out on the Baseball Forward podcast.
Yes. My website, curtispelche.ca, and .ca because I'm in Canada, and I own curtispelche.com. I just haven't hooked it up yet. Yeah, I'm on social media. Coach Curtis, I think, is my name on Instagram. I don't even know what it is.
Coach Curtis.
Yeah, Coach Curtis Pelletier. That's I'm on Instagram. I talk on Instagram. I post quotes and stuff, but you just shoot me a DM or shoot me an email, coach@curtispelche.ca. And again, it doesn't have to be a massive conversation. It's just, this is what I call my recovery company, Momentum Recovery. It's like, we just needed a little bit of momentum. If you're thinking of something and you want to do something, take that step, because that momentum is a beautiful thing. And then we carry that momentum. So mental performance, if you're struggling with anything off the field, if you're struggling with anything on the field, if you're struggling with coaches, struggling with parents, if you're struggling with your kids, we're all struggling with a lot of things.
Yes, we are.
We don't have to do it on our own. And my biggest sell here, and this is, I again, not a big salesy guy, but I don't focus on retention. Okay. And I say that because I want to teach you to be your own best coach. So you don't have to keep coming back to that hitting instructor.
That's right.
So you can figure it out mid at bat and go, oh no, dang, okay. I can feel what I'm doing here. I need to stay closed a little bit more. Right. And it's no different than recovery. It's no different than mental performance. Okay. Counselors, therapists, they're based on retention. They ask questions to keep you coming back. No, man. Like, yeah, it might take a year, but then you go do your thing.
I love, in my opinion, the best of the best of the best coaches have that sentiment. They don't want you. They don't want to have to. They don't want you coming back and being completely dependent upon a coach. They want you.
I want you to come back and tell everybody how you became successful, not based on what I did, but based on how you took some information and made it your own. I can provide the information. You have to provide the determination. You don't have the determination to do things. I'm just talking.
Wow. Amazing information, amazing content, amazing human being. Well done. I want to say, Curtis, awesome talking to you. I want to say thanks again to Curtis Pelletier for joining us on the show. And thank you for listening to this episode of the Baseball Forward podcast. I'm your host, Ross Hawley, and I'll see you next time.